Hi guys, it's that magical time of the year when the new factions are coming out, and we're going to start with the first ones, the Imperial Fists. Now, fun story, the Imperial Fists were probably the first Space Marine Legion I kind of liked playing as, and this was way back in the early 1990s Space Hulk computer game. So, yeah, it's Imperial Fists take me a long way. I have a bit of an affinity towards them. Let's go ahead and check out their cards. As usual, we're going to start by taking a look at their warlords and then running through all their cards from cheapest to most expensive. Okay, we begin with their green warlord, Alexis Pollock. So 2 attack, 30 health, no surprises there. Low initiative feels a little bit unpleasant, but he's got a handy ability, put in play 1 Gorhagen Squad. So that's going to make sure you never run out of troops completely because he can just pull them out himself. So Gorhagen Squad, this was in my reveals video, and you can see here it's got 2 attack, 2 health, and this new Bastion mechanic where any damage has to be soaked up by Bastion before it hits the unit, unless this guy is attacking, in which case the damage done while attacking goes straight to his health. Alrighty, so that's the Green Warlord. I think he's sort of okay. I just don't like low initiative on low health warlords. I don't know. So Gizmond is up next. He's the epic warlord, the orange, and he's got the average stats for an orange warlord: 2 attack, 35 health. He's got a Death Champion special card, but look at this. His energy ability is spend 1 energy, and then until your next turn, anyone who attacks him takes 2 extra damage themselves. So he's doing 4 damage in total to units which attack him, which is pretty neat. It's going to discourage people from hitting him, I think. The special card is down here though, Death's Champion, and look at this synergy it has with that. Death's Champion is 2 energy and your warlord gains +2 and frontline. And so you can trigger Gizmond's ability for 1 energy, making him deal 4 damage to units which attack him, plus triggering for 2 more energy, you can give him front lines. Anyone who hits him will take 6 damage in total. And so you can basically use that in late game to get a bunch of weaker troops out on the board and then protect them with Gizmond. Or potentially, if one of your tough troops is on the board, maybe it's damaged, or you can make Gizmond basically step in front and protect it by using Death's Champion and his ability, and it'll be lethal. Next up, the main man himself, Rogel Dorn. So 2 attack, 40 health, like all the Primarchs. He has a Reckoning, and he's got this little energy ability, 2 energy to give Bastion 2 to a friendly unit. So I like that. It's going to be interesting to see if that stacks with Bastion on existing units. I think it will stack. So that's probably going to make Imperial Fist units really tough to kill. His Reckoning starts at 30 energy. It goes down 1 for every troop you control at the start of your turn. So if you have around 2 troops in play every turn, you'll be able to play his Reckoning around turn 11 or 12. But the more troops you have on the board at the start of each of your turns, the earlier you'll be able to play this. Of course, that means he's probably going to love playing units with stealth potentially, although Bastion will be the main mechanic. Alright, so what happens if you manage to pull off this Reckoning? Turn into the Praetorian of Terra, and your energy ability now is spend 1 energy to give Bastion 3. It doesn't say if it's to yourself or to your troops. I think it's to a troop. And then his Relentless is every turn you create a Stone Gauntlet. So a Stone Gauntlet is a tactics card, which means that each of your units will deal damage equal to its Bastion value to a random enemy. I think the Imperial Fists have a lot of troops with Bastion out there, so this is a good way to capitalize on that. Alright, let's keep going through now. All the cards from cheapest to most expensive. So actually the cheapest card is at the bottom. It's their counterattack. So the Imperial Fist counterattack is give Bastion 2 to a friendly unit. So that's neat and everything, but I think where it really shines is where you combine it with other stuff like Stone Gauntlet. So it means that if you haven't used your counterattack, you'll always be able to do at least 2 damage with Stone Gauntlet. Plus, of course, any damage done by units which are already out there. Alright, cheapest to most expensive, let's go. Aximoff support. So, this guy's amazing. Look at that, 1 energy, and his stats add up to 4 in total. Only 1 attack, but a huge 3 health. That's really extraordinary. And he's got a free energy ability, which is give 2 health to a friendly structure. I mean, honestly, he's probably worth including in a deck just for his stats alone. Especially if you find ways of buffing that up somehow. But 1 energy for a 3 health unit, which can still attack, is pretty neat. I like it. Shield Charge is next. It's a cool little tactic, and I like this one. It allows you actually to get damage out of a unit in the turn that you play it, right? Because you put a unit down with Bastion, and then you play Shield Charge. And yeah, it hits a random enemy, but if you're against a Warlord who's sitting there on his own, the random enemy will always be that Warlord. I really like the look of this. And you can start to get neat combos. So let's say if you're playing as Rogel Dorn. For 2 energy, you play Gorhagen Squad. For 2 more energy, you give a further 2 Bastion to Gorhagen Squad. So they are on, hopefully now, Bastion 4. And then you can play Shield Charge to deal 4 points of damage with that to a random unit. So it's 5 energy in total. Play a very tanky troop and deal 4 damage. I like it. Phalanx Squad is next. So, Rally, give 1 attack and 1 health to a friendly troop. And it's not random, so it looks like you can choose it. That's going to be a big help to Rogel Dorn as he's trying to make his troops last long enough until the next turn. Between stuff like Phalanx Squad and Rogel Dorn, you can probably have a decent chance of surviving. Because look at this. Let's say if you've got an Imperial Fist on the board, let's say Gorhagen Squad, with Bastion 2 in play, you can then drop Phalanx Squad, which turns Gorhagen Squad into 3 health and maybe 3 attack, but we're most interested in the health. Phalanx Squad hits the board, he's got 3 health, but he doesn't have Bastion, but then Rogel Dorn can give him Bastion. So, I think stuff like that, like neat combinations, are going to help Rogel Dorn's Reckoning trick. Next up is another tactic. This is a legendary coming in at 2 energy, Harrenberg. And this is really neat. You have to think through it, but this is a bit of an energy discount manipulation card. So, it costs 2 energy and ends up reducing the cost of a card by 4 energy, so it's a net reduction of 2 energy on a card. Except unlike things like Abandoned Supplies, which will draw a random card out of your deck, with Harrenberg you can choose exactly what you want to be discounted. The only catch is you have to have the energy to be able to play Harrenberg on top of that unit. Next, Praetorian Recruit. So this is their flanker from the looks of things. So 2 energy, you put it on the board, and this is neat, right? Because you can either use it to attack for its 3 attack value, which is useful for 2 energy, or if you still have another 2 energy to spare, you can give it Frontline and Bastion 2. This unit is either for 2 energy a quick attack and destroy unit, or for 4 energy it's a Frontline protective unit. Low health, but it does have Bastion, so it ends up being a 4 energy unit with 3 attack and 4 health, which is a little bit subpar, but you pay for the flexibility. You use it either to defend or attack. It's neat. I like what the devs did with this. Preemptive Strike is another tactic. Give sneak attack to a friendly Astartes this turn. That's handy. Again, coming back to the topic of Rogel Dorn needing units to survive, with Preemptive Strike, you won't be taking damage when you attack, so hopefully your unit can survive until the next turn, and help with his Rogel Dorn's Reckoning discounts. Next up we have Shield Cover, another tactic. Give Bastion 3 to a friendly unit and draw a card. I love that. Remember, Bastion is effectively like health, right? So this is give 3, frankly, health to a friendly unit and draw a card, which is incredible. It says unit here, so you can even give it to your Warlord. I think that is a critical card. Probably the best healing type card the Imperial Fists will have. Well, we'll see. Fortification Mastery. Wow, 3 tactics in a row. 3 energy to put in play 2 Sentry Turrets. Okay, let's go down and see what a Sentry Turret is. Sentry Turret is 2 energy cost, 1 attack, 2 health, it cannot attack. Relentless, deal 2 points of damage to a random enemy. Okay, so if the enemy doesn't kill these things, it becomes a big problem for them. Well, not a big, annoying problem for them. And with that card, Fortification Mastery, you get 2 of them. Not bad. Obviously, Gizmond has a bit of a synergy with that because he can, with Death Champion, he can protect those guys a little bit himself. I don't know, I'll see. Oh, Fortification Turret, did it count as a structure or a vehicle? Okay, it's a structure. So that's the first thing we've seen that Aximov support will be able to buff and increase the health of, to try and keep those things constantly pouring out damage. Fortified Outpost. Another structure now. Cannot attack. Every turn, trigger the relentless abilities of your structure. Oh my god. Okay, I see what you've done. So, and this starts from the end of your turn. Oh my god, that's awesome. So, 6 energy move. Play Fortification Mastery to play 2 Sentry Turrets. You then play Fortified Outpost for 3 energy. And at the end of your turn, both those Sentry Turrets are going to fire. 6 energy to deal 4 points of random damage and have a bunch of stuff still on the board. And then on top of that, Fortified Outpost itself, for 1 energy, deals a huge 3 points of damage. I like this a lot. So you don't necessarily even have to have those Sentry Turrets out, even on its own. It's a pretty cool unit. Malaysian Architecture. Give Bastion 3 to your structures in play. Oh, wow. Okay, so imagine that. Fortification Mastery into Fortified Outpost into Himalayan Architecture. Okay, it's a 9 energy move, but it basically means you get those turrets, you get them to fire, and you make them tanky. That is getting a little interesting. But even then, Himalayan Architecture can help protect your Fortified Outposts, for example. Pestros is up next. Frontline Rally. Put in play a Sentry Turret. Okay, I guess the Imperial Fists are going to have a lot of these Sentry Turrets. His stats are sub-average, but of course he's coming in with Frontline for that. And you get this extra turret, which his own Frontline is protecting. So that's good synergy with his Rally ability. I like it. Next, another cheap legendary, Sergeant Aymand. So let's take a look. He's got Bastion 2, he's Frontline, he's got Rage. Oh, every time he gets hit, all your units, including your Warlord, get Bastion 1. That is fantastic. I love it. Alright, next up is Sergeant Alias. 3 energy, average stats, below average attack, above average health. Energy ability, give Bastion 2 to a friendly Astartes. I'm guessing he can give it to himself. But, yeah, this keeps tying into, like, keeping Imperial Fist units alive, which has that huge synergy with Rogel Dorn's own cost reduction. Next, we have Sustained Barrage. Okay, so 3 energy cost tactic, deal 2 damage to a random enemy, repeat this effect for each friendly structure in play. So if you have a bunch of those turrets in place, with Sustained Barrage, you're basically firing them off repeatedly. What if you did Fortification Mastery into Fortified Outpost into Sustained Barrage? The Fortification Mastery creates 2 sentries. That creates a structure as well. Sustained Barrage will then do 6 points of damage in total. No, it's gonna repeat for each. It's 8. If you have 3 structures, it'll activate 4 times. Once on its own, and then repeat for each structure. So that's gonna be 8 points of damage. Plus Fortified Outpost will trigger each of those other 2 structures one more time. The Sentry Turrets. That's going to be 8 plus 2 plus 2. 12 points of damage for 9 energy. Interesting. Very interesting. Alright, we have Darsway. Put in play a Gorhagen Squad. That's kind of plain. Like, this unit is completely vanilla on its stats. It's totally average. 4 energy, 4 attack, 4 health, and its ability is a bit boring. Put in play a Gorhagen Squad. Not totally convinced with this thing. It's... Alright, we've got Disciplined Fire. Deal 4 damage to an enemy and stun it. I love it. Frankly, dealing 4 damage to an enemy for 4 energy would be worth it anyway, and stunning it is a cherry on the cake. Definitely going in my deck. Valuable. Alright, is this going to be our first epic card? It is. Gorhagen Squad. Rally. Gain +1 for every other friendly troop in play. I guess that's where Darsway could help. If you're creating Gorhagen Squads and they're surviving, Gorhagen Squad is going to start turning into a really nasty guy. Because if you have 3 other troops in play and you put this guy down, he's suddenly turned into a 6 attack, 7 health unit for 4 energy. Which could escalate quickly. Interesting. Again, coming back to it, I mean, this is every other troop in play, which includes structures. So 7 energy move is playing Fortification Mastery to create 2 troops plus Gorhagen Squad. So that is going to make him into a 5 attack, 7 health unit. Plus you're going to have the 2 structures out. So that's a lot of good synergy there. Looks like a well-designed faction. Grossbar Tactical Squad, very average, except they're a frontline troop and anyone who hits them gets stunned. They don't have that much health, but if you start buffing them up with Bastion, they can become tricky. Oh, I like it. Lytanis Squad. This is a Breacher Squad. Bastion 2, 2 energy to deal 3 damage. I mean, their stats are about average, including the Bastion. They're basically 3 attack, 5 health, 2 energy to deal 3 damage, though I think that's handy. I will give these guys a thumbs up. I like it. Dalworth Defenders. This was from my reveal video. Give Bastion 1 to your troops. Okay, I think I'm liking this a lot more now as well, because you're just seeing how easy it looks like to get troops who are hard to kill and are going to survive, and I think Dalworth Defenders will actually trigger a fair bit. Stone Gauntlet we talked about already. That Bastion value on your units will be used for damage. Void Maneuver. Stun 1 random enemy for every troop you control. I can see why this would be useful. The Imperial Fists should have lots of troops on the board from the sounds of things, but on the other hand, I tend to not be a fan of conditional cards. Because the odds are this will come up in your hand when you don't have enough troops to fully benefit from it. I don't know. I'll test it out. I think this could be good. At the very least, you can play a cheap troop and then do a stun if the enemy warlord's on his own. So, like Arcamus, another legendary troop. Oh yeah. His own stats are below average actually, but if you play him when you have other troops, again this is conditional, all of a sudden those other guys become very, very good and more than compensate for stats. Lordan Terminators. Hey, another Sentry Turrets, guys. At the end of your turn, they will play a Sentry Turret. Apart from that, their stats are very sub-average. And now these guys are a sub-average card, which is putting down weak troops. I do not like the look of this. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Osrak support, again, average stats, well below average attack, but these guys are you don't want to be attacking with them, you just want to be doing the damage. On the surface, this feels maybe slightly better than average, but when you imagine these guys have 6 attack, they're not going to be serious. They have 6 health. They're not going to be attacking. They are prime candidates to dump all the Bastion you can on them and let them just blast away from inside with their 4 damage to a target of their choice. So with a bit of buffing, these will become super dangerous. Perimetral defense. Frontline unit cannot attack. More sentry turrets. Okay. Again, this ties into being a structure which protects those sentry turrets. I'm going to need more defense satellites, I think, if I'm facing a lot of Imperial Fists out there. Cool card, though. I like it. And then, of course, if they don't kill this and the sentry turrets, they'll be in trouble. Does Rogel Dorn give... Yeah, you can give Bastion 2 to this as well. So you could, if perimeter defenses could be dropped and given Bastion 2 to help protect stuff. Resolve of Stone. Give frontline and... oh, this is great. Give frontline until next turn and Bastion 4 to a friendly unit. You play this on your Warlord, basically, I think. It's going to give your Warlord the ability to protect his troops and make sure they survive until the next turn. And with Bastion 4, he can take a little bit of a hit until that happens. I think this looks good. Phalanx Wardens. So, Bastion 2, frontline troop, rally, create a copy of themselves. I like that. It also plays well with a bunch of other cards like Stone Gauntlet, where the multiple troops you have will help. So, I mean, I know they look very poor for their energy cost, but that's, when you get 2 of them, it's actually pretty good. Effectively, it's a 3 attack, 5 health unit with frontline, and you get a pair of them for 6 energy. I like this card. Templar Brethren was from my reveal video. They give your Warlord Bastion 3. That's great. It's another form of healing and without just being a boring healing card. Burklash Whirlwind is up next. So it's a vehicle, rally, deal 2 damage to 3 random enemies. That's okay, but it's I think with this one, like if you're only facing the enemy Warlord and you put this down, it's deal 2 damage to the enemy Warlord only. I mean, maybe that's still worth it for 6 energy. Get a slightly below average unit, but deal 2 points of damage. It looks good. I think it's practical. Assault Echelon. So this is a Terminator squad. Very low health, but it does come with Bastion. Very powerful energy ability over there as well, as long as you've got multiple troops on the board. I mean, even if you include Bastion, it's 7 energy with 5 health. It is squishy, and it's very dangerous because of its energy ability, so this thing will die. So, and it's not that hard to kill it once you're in late game and people are playing 7 energy units, so I don't like this card. Gonna die before it does anything good. Retribution. Destroy a troop. Costs 1 less for each friendly troop in play. Okay, so if you're getting board control and the enemy's trying to stop you with a powerful unit, Retribution will kill that enemy unit. So it's great. This is the Imperial Fist hard removal card, so of course you must have 2 of them if you're planning on playing a serious Imperial Fist deck. The First Wall, another epic. 7 energy, very high health, but with 4 attack, it's vulnerable to Melgator. It's frontline, and for 3 energy, put in play 2 Sentry Turrets. It has to survive until your next turn. It's vulnerable to Melgator. I know it has frontline, but with only 4 attack for 7 energy, it's more for road bump than a barrier. And even if it survives until next turn, you're then spending 3 energy to get your Sentry Turrets out of it, which leaves you less energy. I don't know, I just feel that there's so many better cards or better combos of cards for 7 energy. Captain Lexandro. He's a green unit. 8 energy. Oh my, yes, this is great. Very expensive. Poor stats. I mean, yeah, he does have Bastion, so it's basically average when you combine that. 6 attack and 10 health in total. But his resolution ability, if you have lots of troops out there and a bunch of them are damaged, at the end of the turn he goes into play, he'll be able to heal them, which guarantees value out of this. I like that. Okay, we're coming up to the last legendaries. Stissi Gunfred, a Dreadnought. Rally, deal 3 damage to an random enemy for each other unit you control. Again, this is super conditional. If you don't control that many other units, you get a below average unit, like only 6 attack for 8 energy. Although he'll deal 3 points of random damage, just because of putting him down next to your Warlord. Your Warlord's another unit. But if you have board control, like a bunch of those Sentry Turrets, and then you play this Dreadnought, it's going to wreck your enemy's day. So, I think this can be very powerful. I need to play Imperial Fists for a bit to see how likely it is. You're going to have lots of units in turn 8, but it works nicely. This has great synergy actually with the Green Warlord, because let's say if you're in a 10 energy turn, all your units have been killed. As Alexis Pollock, you can spend 2 energy to create a Gorhagen Squad, and then you drop Justicey Gunfred, and so the other units he controls are your Warlord and the Gorhagen Squad you just created. So you put him in play and he does 6 damage in total, which is neat. Lastly, we have the Phalanx. Draw 4 cards. Your Warlord gains Bastion 4, refill 4 energy. So it's draw 4. Yes, it's great in every way. It effectively heals your Warlord, and it only costs 4 energy once you include the refill, and you draw 4 cards out. It's game changing. I like it a lot. Okay, we're coming up to the last 3 cards. Quirion Cataphracti. 9 energy cost, below average health. Very low health, but has Bastion. So including Bastion, it's effectively 7 attack, 10 health for 9 energy, which is below average, although they have Frontline, which is good. And their energy ability is interesting. They always can get their Bastion back, and that's going to help you both keep them alive for Rogel Dorn, as well as use other abilities like Shield Charge and Stone Gauntlet and things like that. So I think they're okay. It's just, I mean, it's not that they're bad. I think there's probably better cards out there. Like, I would rather have, I don't know, I wouldn't say rather. I think they have their merits. It's tough to choose between Captain Lexandro, who heals if you have troops, or Quirion, who can effectively heal himself. Interesting. Last unit we're going to look at is the Agathon Falcion Heavy Tank. 2 energy to deal 6 damage to an enemy and then stun it. That is powerful. It says to any enemy, so you can use this to start blasting away at the enemy Warlord and stun lock it, or shoot the annoying powerful unit the enemy just put on the board. It's got average stats like fantastic health, below average attack value of its own, but you're not going to be attacking with this thing. You're going to be spending that cheap 2 energy to fire its ability. I think it's worth it. I like it. And the final card is Defender of Terra. Put 3 Sentry Turrets and 2 Phalanx Wardens in play. That's really neat. It doesn't look all that much, but essentially what you're then doing is getting 3 Sentry Turrets. So those turrets survive till the start of your turn. You're dealing 6 points of damage with that. On top of that, to protect it, you're getting 2 of these guys out there. So 3 attack, 3 health, frontline, and Bastion. If the enemy does not have lots of powerful units, then Defender of Terra can set you up nicely. Although the big downside is those Sentry Turrets are very vulnerable to defense satellites, or even artillery strikes or rain of fire. many ways to kill 2 energy units, but if you see the enemy is low on health, for example, and you reach, low on cards, it's unlikely they've got area removal, then Defender of Terra might just mess up their day. Alright, with that, we've reached the end of the Imperial Fists cards. I'm really liking the look of this faction. So I'm going to end this video here. Thanks for watching, everyone. And if you head over to the stream section of my channel, you're going to find some recordings of me trying out the Imperial Fists in action as well. And depending on how many people are watching that stream, I might be opening a bunch of crates. We'll see. Alright, so see you on the battlefield, and bye for now, everyone.